Well, good morning. I'd like to welcome you to the 8th annual Early Bird Sale, which is our sale that we have on January 27th, 2025. And for a lot of our customers, I would remind you, sometimes I get complimented that we start at 9 a.m. on our big sales, but we're going to give you an hour extra to look at the cattle, and I know you're going to be traveling from a bit away too, but we'll start this sale at 10 a.m. And I think back to the origination of it and having to do it. And one of the things I've learned in my very fortunate career to get to be able to work with cattle and people is people want and need a bull when they want it. And they're not nice animals, and they tear stuff up, and they really don't want a bull when they don't want it. And so that's why we added that January sale. I probably heard for 30 plus years, I mean, I really need to turn out before April, because our main sale in the past and our only sale in the 80s, 90s, up until 2004 was the April sale. They said I got to turn out before then. So we were able to address that need. But, you know, I think about it, and I think about my family, and it's very similar to your family and the evolution of it all. And, you know, we were visiting recently when I was telling Team Youth at our place, you know, we're probably going to be heading out of here. So you're going to have to figure out some of these things too. And so even 8 years ago, when I had this idea to do this, I called my good friend Jim Birdwell, and I said, I think we need to have a sale. And what auctioneer on earth ever thought that was a bad idea? He said, I think that would be great. And he said, I said, Jim, the part you're not going to like is I think we need to wean ourselves of you, because even though you're nearly immortal and one of the greatest of all time, you're getting more mature, and at some point you're probably not going to do this anymore. So I would like that to be Joel's sale, and it has been since the very first sale. And Joel Birdwell, Jim Birdwell, what a tremendous family. But I think about that, and I think, I laugh about it, and I chuckle that this is the 8th one. That very first sale, we were very fortunate that it was an exceptional sale, thanks to our great customers, and we were so thankful. And I said, hey, let's call your dad. Where's he? He goes, well, he's in Minnesota. What's he doing? Well, he's got a sale up there. So we called him because we were done before noon, and I said, what are you doing, Jim? Well, I couldn't get a job in Ashland, Kansas, so I had to go to Minnesota. And we both chuckled and had fun with that. But I think the reality of the beef industry and life is that time marches on. And, when we often think about the process of how do we get better, and, I'm a big fan of Bill Snyder. Let's do all we can to make ourselves and our cattle and our services better today. Even if it's 1% a day. In 365 days, you've improved by 365%. And I know he didn't invent that concept, but I think when we look at the evolution of the cattle and the multi-trade excellence that we have available to us today, just the mere sires that we can choose today versus the ones that we had available 8 years ago, it's an amazing difference. So as we invite you to this sale on Sunday evening, supper at 5, and the program with Paul Dykstra from Certified Angus Beef going to be talking about the value of these cattle and how we changed beef demand and how we can tweak a few little things and make our beef even more valuable. When I think of CAB and that success story, that's so exciting. Started in 1978, floundered for 2 decades, and, approaching 10 years now, selling more than 1 billion plus pounds per year. And I won't get the figure exactly right for 2024, but 1,200,000,000 plus pounds of the finest beef on earth sold by Certified Angus Beef. And we all know that's not the cheap stuff, but that is the good stuff that changed beef demand. So you're going to have one of the real soldiers and one of the real knowledgeable people that knows about Certified Angus Beef right there front and center to give you a presentation and answer any and all of your questions. So I'll tell you, like I tell my interns, I expect you to have some questions because I want to learn something too. So we look at those 400 bulls that we're going to start selling at 10 a.m. And as the sale has grown, we've added a second auctioneer with Rick Machado, who was our second auctioneer that we added after the untimely passing of Stanley Stout back in the day. And I always thought Rick was a lot younger than me, and I smile and, hey, Rick, how's it going? He's about the same age as me, so we're both more mature than we were, but we're excited to have Rick Machado and Joel Birdwell again, and we're going to sell 400 bulls, and I think it's exciting when we look at where they rank within the Angus breed for calving ease in that 15%, same top 15% for growth. And it's pretty cool that they're top 2% of the Angus breed for marbling and top 8 or 9% of the breed for muscle. And then you look at their MPI, maternal pounds index, being in the upper quartile of the method genetics database. These cattle will have calving ease, early growth, moderate stature, value-added cattle that will help feed the growing demand for beef, and then leave females in your herd that'll replicate the process. So we're excited about that. We'll also be selling 175 method genetics tested females that are bred to acceleration. They were bred on 3 different dates of November 13th, November 20th, and November 30th, somewhere in that range. But we're going to put those in retained ownership income order, and you can buy those heifers. They'll have all their method genetics, but you can buy a minimum of 10, but if you have the winning bid, you can take them all. And so these are exceptional heifers that came from customers of ours, and they have an average retained ownership income index of 235. That's really good. 210 is the base. That's the average. And so these are exceptional and bred to even better bull with acceleration. But and also remember, a lot of times people forget that. Well, I only want 10 or I want 12. It doesn't matter. Get what you want. You have to take a minimum of 10, but freight is on us. So we are so thankful, and we try to put on programs that are interesting and we can learn something, and I want to learn something too. But please join us for our 8th annual early bird sale on January 27th at 10 a.m. Ashland, Kansas at the Henry and Nan Gardiner Marketing Center. We are so fortunate and so thankful for our many customers, and we look at this as teamwork working together to make beef better.